Hi, I'm Dr. Aimie, and today we're going to talk about another tool of the trade for parents parenting children with attachment disorder. Now, one of the key features of attachment disorder, and actually any child who grew up in a family that was, for lack of a better reason, we'll just say dysfunctional, they don't know their feelings and they don't trust their feelings. And this is partly what makes their feelings so scary to them. And they feel like if they do any vulnerability, all of those feelings will come up. And since they don't know what those feelings are, it feels very unmanageable, very scary. And many children describe their feelings, their stuffed, pent up feelings, as the big monster. So, part of parenting is teaching them, showing them, helping them understand what they're feeling, and then over time, helping them to trust those feelings. So, one of the tools that can be used to help them know what they're feeling, first of all, is to just give it a name. And these are cards, they're interactive cards for parts work. And this comes from the internal family systems therapy developed by Richard Schwartz. And I use this in a lot of different areas for a lot of different ways, but this has been very helpful to help identify feelings and label them. If they have a name, if something has a name, it's not as scary. I'm going to show you a few of the cards. And these are cards that actually some of the kids have pulled out and said, this is how I feel. And then we can say a name to that. So, if this is, a kid is like, this is how I feel right now. This is how I feel right now. Then, that feeling can be, you're feeling stuffed, or you're feeling like there's never enough. And then you can go from there. This is another one that kids pull out quite frequently who have grown up with early chaos in their lives. They feel like everything is chaotic around them and they're small and scared. So this is a good label for being scared. And we always have to have a card for anger. And it's hard for us to understand maybe that they don't know that they're feeling angry, but that's why they can tend to act it out rather than being able to say, I'm angry, because they don't know. They don't have a word for it. And so it's just really scary to them. And so that leads to acting it out even more. So having these cards around can be really helpful when they can just look through the pile and say, this is how I feel. And then you as the parent can be like, oh, that makes sense. You must be feeling angry then. You must be feeling overwhelmed then, as in this card would kind of indicate. Overwhelmed, or again, kind of scared, like you can't hold it all together. That's very common for kids, especially maybe foster kids or new adoptive kids. They're trying to hold it together, be a certain person, be the kid that they think they need to be in order to stay in the home. And they've got this fear that they're not going to be able to hold it together much longer. So you can talk about, oh, you're feeling overwhelmed and fear because of this. Sadness and depression is a very common feature, as we know, of any nervous systems who have gone into the freeze in order to survive. And so even though this is harder for them to feel, and they'll usually go to anger instead of sadness, this is a really good one to pull out to help normalize it, and then they're not as afraid to show it. Scared is another way to show that here, with it actually being scared from another person almost and wanting to hide. Being embarrassed. And so we got to pull out cards though for when they're doing great too. Oh, you're feeling proud of yourself. You did a really good job and you're feeling proud of yourself. That's, different than happy And pride is not a bad thing. This is feeling proud of yourself because you did something awesome. Many kids do have that feeling of wanting to please someone. And so we talk about that. We label that for them. And then at the root of many is the fear of abandonment. And so feeling that loneliness and that abandonment is something that we got to name for them so that they can understand it and not be as scared about it. And then they can point to the cards and be like, this is how I feel right now. And you can just help them know what their feelings are so that they're not as scary and they're more manageable for them. So I really encourage you to find these cards. You can find them off Amazon. I think that there's also a website for the interactive cards. Google search it and you'll find them. I think they actually have 2 different packs now. But internal family systems for parts work. And then at another video, we'll talk about the actual parts work and how to use parts work with your kids for really the deeper work once they're ready for that. All right, I hope you enjoyed, and I'd love your comments about how you've helped your kid name and normalize their feelings. All right, have a good day.